G'day folks. Today we're having a look at another one of Matchbox's purple range. This is their Starfighter. It's their Lockheed F104 Starfighter. It's PK28, which indicates that it's one from the second batch of kits that was released, and I think that was in 1975. I'm not exactly sure when this particular one was boxed, but we'll have a bit of a look at it. The Starfighter was, interestingly for myself, one of the few models that I had in 1/48 as well. For my 11th birthday in 1982, I was given a 1/48 scale Starfighter. It was either Testers or Monogram, I can't quite remember which, but it had a chromed, the surfaces, the external surfaces were all chromed and it came up very shiny. Quite a long aeroplane, as you can see, as we know. Narrow, a short wingspan, long fuselage, the missile with a man in it, they used to call it, among other things. And one thing about Matchbox was I used to wonder how you'd fit such a long aeroplane into this small Matchbox box. So we'll have a bit of a look. And one thing also that we'll do in this video is we're going to have a look at a later 72nd scale F104. This will be the one from Revell, which Revell, of course, as we know, took over the moulds from Matchbox and they released them under Revell markings. But I think the last one came out, the ex-Matchbox moulding came out in 1993, and they came out with a new tooling in about 1995, and that's the one we're going to have a bit of a look at. And just as a bit of an idea of the size difference as far as boxing goes, let's have a little bit of a look. See, can't even get it in the screen, but we'll have a bit of a look at that shortly. So having a look at the artwork on the front there, it's one of the Roy Huxley early paintings, two Royal Canadian Air Force Starfighters, one breaking away over somewhere. Bit of a way to get you interested, and it certainly worked for me. Now on this side, as usual, we see for the early ones, the 4 different kits that you could buy, and I had all of these ones. Then on the end, of course, just how it looks on the shelf. On this end, we have the normal information with a picture of what it'd look like assembled, decaled, but no paint. And then we see this end as well. And on the back, we have the 2 colour schemes. We've got a Royal Canadian Air Force aircraft, and we have a West German, a Luftwaffe aircraft, both from the late 60s. And then you get a look inside and some early 70s-ish looking colours there, that baby blue or that sky blue and what looks like white. So let's have a bit of a look. Now let's see what we have inside. I find it's easier to open these ones upside down so you don't lose bits everywhere. Made that mistake the other day. Oh, what have we got? Beautiful. Looking at the instructions. Now this is all on a kind of lightish purplish lavender coloured bit of paper, which makes me wonder whether it is a photocopy. So on the front, as usual, image, bit of prototypical information. Inside, how to. There, oh, it's a 9-step instruction this time. So the first one, we put old mate on the seat. The second one, we put the seat in, cut out the display stand slot and put the fuselage section together. 3, we see how they got it in the box, separate tail sections. Put all of those together. There, and then 4, the next section there that goes together. 5, we put the rear fuselage onto the forward fuselage. We put the ventral panel, the exhaust and the canopy and the nose bits on. Step 6, we put the massive wings and the intakes on and the tailplane there. And 7, put some undercarriage together. 8, the missiles. And 9, put everything back together. And there, by the looks of it, we have, what have we got, A and B. Let's have a bit of a closer look at that and see what we've got. Paint chart there, and on the back, the info about the stand, information in different languages, and the paint chart for the different components. Decals. We have the West German scheme and we have the Canadian scheme there with the name for the stand. These ones look like they've dried out, so I don't know that they would be usable, but wouldn't be too hard to get some other ones if I wanted. Get the transparency. This one has come away from the sprue that holds it, and so we have the canopy there. Could do with a little polish, I think, but it should come up okay. And that was certainly satisfactory for the time. Looking at the first sprue in that beautiful 70s baby blue, we can see how they managed to get such a long aeroplane into this short box with a separate rear fuselage section and the main fuselage section there. So it's a rather clever way, I reckon. Recessed panel lines, we don't have the ridges as we see on some other versions, and it has the 1975 date there in the fuse. Nose cone there, fairly simple, but you could make something nice out of it. Looking at the next sprue, is pretty much everything other than the fuselage. So it's got the tiny little wings on the left there, missiles, rails, undercarriage components, tailplane, pilot, seat, undercarriage doors there. So again, the recessed panel lines make it easier to do well, and yeah, a lot of parts in a small amount of space. As I mentioned, we're going to compare with a later 1 to 72nd scale F104, and this is a 2-seater, a trainer version, and have a look at the size difference of the box. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, can't even get it in frame. This is I think this is a 1998 boxing from the 95 new tool. So let's open her up and have a bit of a look. Now, sorry about the reflection. Just to show how much of a monster this box is, we can put pretty much all of the other stuff on this box, and it barely hangs over the side. So yeah, that's a big box. Now let's have a look at the stuff you get within. Let's start with 2 sprues in a bag. So let's have a look. It comes with a bit of a novel of reading. Not sure why there's a holiday park booklet inside, but you've got some quite detailed decals there. Security text, lots of warnings in different languages. Don't let the kids eat them. Yeah, this was the 90s. Things were a bit more relaxed in the 70s. Big instructions. Ooh. A lot more complex, a lot more detailed. Technically a better kit, but you know, was it as fun as the Matchbox one? I don't think so. And then looking at the very nice transparency there, one of the main sprues, we've got the forward fuselage sections. I'm guessing they did it this way so they could do a single seater as well. We have the wings and rear fuse and components that would have probably been common to the different varieties. And then we have a fairly decent range of accessories, weapons and drop tanks and all of that sort of thing, and the rest of the aeroplane. So yeah, quite different from the Matchbox version, but I don't know, better in some ways technically, maybe not so good in others. Sitting one set of fuselage sections on the other, you can see that, well, Matchbox has got trenches, the Revell one has smaller trenches, but yeah, so that just gives you a bit of a general idea of the complexity changes between the 70s and the 90s, and to each their own. They both have their good points, and yeah, that's what we've got. So thank you, folks. Well, I'm trying to film here, but we have someone who has joined in. Meow meow. Meow meow. Hello. Meow meow. Well, she's distracted. Back to the filming.